Hey guys, want to avoid being like this kind of individual?
Hey guys, XX Internet D-Bag here, XX. Today what I've got for you guys is a little Pop Tropica action and,
Oopsie, lunch is ready.
God damn it, Mom, I'm trying to record a video! Ugh!
Want to learn how to make a good gaming commentary? Well, stick around and I'll show you how, from recommended gear to editing to uploading itself. Alright, hey guys, so for those of you who don't know me, my name's Cooper, or Quan Games. I'm a gaming YouTuber who's been at it for about 2 years, and at this point, I would say I have a lot of experience with gaming commentaries, and I'm happy to share my experience and my tips with you guys and hopefully help you out. So, before we get into this, I'm just going to outline today's video. What I'll be going over is first off the gear, then recording the footage itself, editing, the commentary, music, and then uploading. So if you're interested in any of this, learning how to do it, and just knowing kind of what I do, be sure to stick around. And yeah, without further ado, let's dig right into it, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so I don't know so much about gear for recording the console, but I certainly know a lot about PC. So my quick tip to you guys if you're recording on console, because I don't own any, so I don't know a lot, but I do know for a fact that Elgato is a great recorder to have. I think it is worth your money. So if you're interested in recording on your console, I recommend you just save up the however much money it takes and get an Elgato, because it is certainly worth it. Now, for PC, if you're just starting out on YouTube and you're not sure if you want to do it yet, you're just like, oh, my friends do it, or it looks cool, it looks fun, I want to try it out, but you don't want to invest money in it yet because, hey, you don't know quite if it's the thing for you, I recommend you get Screencast-O-Matic. It's a fun, free, I think it can record up to 15 minutes of live commentary, so you can't do voiceovers as far as I know, but it's really nice for figuring out whether YouTube is the thing for you or not. Now, if you're sure you're into YouTube and you want to start investing money in it, I recommend you start out with Fraps. That's what I've been using all this time, and I highly recommend it. It's good, it works most of the time. Most of the time when it doesn't work, it's because your computer is failing, not Fraps itself. And yeah, so Fraps I think is $37. I recommend you get it. It is certainly worth your money. For good video, however, you want to also make sure that your computer is up to the standard, like up to par, like your computer is going to work with it, because you want a computer that can run most games at 60 FPS, and you want it to be able to record at a minimum of 30 FPS. Now, to edit, you don't really need much, honestly. I mean, you could go like crazy and you could get the Sony Vegas editor, whatever. If you want to do that, that's your thing, sure. But what I found works for me all these years is just using Windows Movie Maker Live, which is completely free. So that's really nice. And then for mic, you're going to want something that doesn't muffle your voice, so it's not like, hey guys, something like that. I don't know. You don't want that, because people are going to be like, God, this sounds like crap. I don't want to listen to it. So you're going to avoid that as much as possible. Maybe a mic that's $30 or so. I have a Samson mic. I forget which one, but it's pretty nice. It records good audio quality from my experience. Also I think Yeti Snowball. Those are pretty good as well. So that's it for gear. That's all I really have to recommend for you. Something that can play games at 60 FPS and record at a minimum of 30 FPS. Honestly, 30 FPS isn't that good, but I think it will pass. And yeah, so with that, let's move on to recording the footage itself. Alright, so as I just said, you want at least 30 FPS or above for most of the video. If it crashes a little bit, like from time to time, just for a few seconds, that's acceptable, but generally you want to keep it above 30. So, settings do not necessarily have to be at the max in your game, but you want to make it look nice. Like, you don't want it to just be a bunch of pixels or a bunch of solid colors, like at the lowest setting, because that's honestly just not going to look so good, and people aren't going to really want to watch it so much. So, if you're doing something like PvP, generally just make sure the footage is interesting, like not you running around the map looking for enemies the whole time or something like that. Like, you're going to want to have kills interspersed here or there, or big clumps of them, whatever. You want to keep it interesting. And if there are like boring parts, like there's a lot of you running around and then there's like a sudden a bunch of kills and then running around, more kills, something like that, just fast forward through the boring parts, like you running around looking for the enemy, because there should be an option for that in any editor you use. So anyway, just keep it interesting, and always try to have at least a 2:1 KD. That's my recommendation to you. Otherwise, you may look bad and viewers will lose interest. And then, of course, keep it engaging and entertaining. make sure you are recording, this is very important, at close to a 16:9 aspect ratio, because the problem is for a lot of games they don't record at that. You can always change it in settings, and then when you record it on your screen it looks nice, and then once you upload it you realize there are these big black bars like all over your screen because the aspect ratio is off. So 16:9 I believe is the YouTube standard aspect ratio, so just try and get that as much as possible. Go into your settings, there should be an option to change aspect ratio in most games, and just get it as close to that as possible. So anyway, make sure it is almost always constant action, but not just a bunch of little clips. You do not want it to be like 10-second clips. Like, you don't want 10 minutes of like 20-second clips or 10-second clips. You don't want that. That's going to be too much change at once, and that's not going to be interesting for the viewer. Anyway, guys, that is the recording the footage itself part. Now we'll move on to the editing. Now for editing, you're going to want to get all your footage into Movie Maker Live or whatever other editor you choose to use, and you're going to start going through it, picking out which clips you think are best. Remember, good clips include lots of kills or other interesting things. Next, once you have about 5 to 10 minutes of good footage, go through each clip, fast forward through the boring parts, and at the end of each clip, go to the animation section of your editor, and that's what it's called in Movie Maker Live. I'm not sure what it's called in other ones, but basically what it is a nice little effect at the end of each clip, so you can transition through each clip and make it mesh together nicely. And then you're going to pick one that you think looks nice so they go together well. So after that, if you were talking while recording, make sure that you have turned the footage audio to 0, and then you can move on to music and commentary. So basically, why you want it at 0 is because while you're like voicing over something and you don't realize it, and you want to check all this stuff at the end before you save your final project, because sometimes what'll happen is you think you turned down the volume or you forgot to, and then you save it and you upload it, and when you upload it, you realize there's you with the commentary, and then at the same time there's like you talking to your mom in the background or something because you forgot to mute the game audio. However, if you don't have a mic plugged in and you would like to have the game audio, like the shooting or something like that in there, that's totally fine. That's just your personal taste. I never do that because I always have a mic plugged in, so there's always going to be the shooting noises and stuff like that, but there's also going to be like, Mom, make me a sandwich or something like that, and I don't want that in there. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's move on to the commentary section. Now for commentary, this is what I can probably help you most on. I have a ton of info on commentary because that's kind of what I have specialized in over the years, and yeah, so for a gaming voiceover commentary, I always, for this video, for almost any video I do, I always write a list of things to talk about. Even for live commentaries, I always write a few things down just in case. So basically what that will look like is you will have your screen in front of you, you'll have your mic next to you, you'll be talking into it, and then on your table or whatever you have that you're sitting in front of, you will have a paper with just a list of things to talk about. And that's what I have today. I actually have a ton of pages because this video is kind of bigger than most I do. At least there's a lot more to talk about. So you're just going to have this big list. So to start a commentary, you will introduce yourself, always be upbeat. You don't want to be like, hey guys, oh yeah, my name is blah 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 blah. No, you don't want to be that guy because everyone's gonna be like, wow, this is crap. I mean, they're gonna be like, why would I watch him when I can watch someone who can actually do an intro right or something like that. So you're going to always want to keep it upbeat. How I always do mine is just like, hey guys, what's up, Squan17 here, welcome to blah blah blah. Just keep it interesting and always try to avoid like awkward pauses in the middle of your thing. Just keep the ball rolling because awkward pauses and stopping off, it's just not good. It doesn't sound good, and it's gonna make people be like, does he really know what he's talking about? Is he confident? No, he's probably not. And so they're gonna stop watching. Again, like, it's really, really hard to keep a viewer watching your videos, and I know a lot of my viewers don't even watch my whole one through, but they still watch at least like 5 to 10 seconds of that, and I would say that is a success. So you just want to keep it as interesting as possible and keep them engaged as long as possible. So anyway, this is why having notes is really handy, because when you don't know what to say, you can always just look down and get some ideas. A lot of times there will be awkward pauses in between subjects, so to prevent that, I like to link the two together. So for example, I'd be like, on the topic of gaming and videos, the rest of the week's plans are ... So something like that will always keep the ball rolling and just kind of keep it interesting and keep it smooth, keep it liquid, and always remember that you can restart your narration whenever you want. You can just stop doing it and you can go and start again. So next, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to introduce your video. What do you have that day? Say what game you are, what character, or any other details of the footage you deem importantly, and finally how you do. So you could be like, Hey guys, what's up? Squan17 here. Today what I've got for you guys is some Team Fortress action. I'll be playing as the demo man. I mean, I'm just making this up as I go. I didn't write this down or anything. And then you'd explain your loadout or something like that, and then you say, oh yeah, and I went 20-2 in this clip, or in all the clips I went blah 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 blah, something like that. You just want to explain what you have, so you're not just like, hey guys, what's up, and then you just start talking about other stuff, and they're like, well, what am I watching? And they have to figure it out for themselves. No, people are lazy. I'm lazy. Everyone is lazy. That's just how it is. We are a lazy generation, and they're going to want to have stuff explained to them, and that's how I want it. So just keep it that way. Make sure you explain everything so they can understand what's going on. And then after that, I usually like to talk about the character or playstyle I'm using, what I like, what I dislike, and then a few tips. And then once you're done with that and you kind of want to wrap up on the game itself, just talk about the game, what do you like about it, what do you dislike, etc. After that, kind of talk about your next plans for videos and just gaming in general. This is how I do it. I mean, you can do it however you want. This is just kind of what I like to do and what's worked well for me over the years. And then once you feel that you've exercised the gaming topic enough, you can move off it and talk about other things. I like to talk about YouTube stuff, like, for example, a partnership. Like, I'm not partnered, but I've been considering it for a long time, and I'll talk about that. And you want to communicate with your viewers. Like, you want to directly kind of be in touch with them, invite them to respond to the stuff you're saying, and things like that. So I could be like, hey guys, do you have any partnerships you'd recommend? And then people will leave some recommendations down below, stuff like that. So otherwise, you can also talk about just your life in general. I do that a lot as well, kind of like what you've been up to lately and what you've been doing. Another thing that can really spice up your videos and make them kind of different from other people, because I mean, there are a lot of people out there doing gaming commentaries, and there's not a lot of space left for people to do them. Like, there's so many other people out there almost always doing the exact same thing as you. It's really hard to make your own niche, if you know what I mean. So to spice things up, you can always tell kind of just a funny story about something that happened to you recently or that just happened. Like I think it was maybe last video or last Thursday's video, I talked about how, like, I walked into a tree when I thought I saw Kate Upton and she laughed at me, right? Like, that's a funny story. That's like something different that doesn't happen to you every day, and it's just different. So throw fun things in there from time to time to spice it up, and yeah. So after that, you will want to start wrapping up your video, because at this time you should be nearing the 10-minute mark. That is my recommended amount of time for gaming commentary. If you aren't there quite yet, either look at what you wrote down and revisit a subject, think of something else to talk about, or what you can do, and what I like to do, is just at the bottom of the page, I always like to write a few topics that I can maybe bring up at the end if I need them, but usually I won't talk about them. So once you have reached the end of the video, you have about a minute or two left, you want to start wrapping things up. If you have other websites linked with your channel, advertise them there, and then always remind viewers to like, comment, and subscribe. One more thing I like to do, and not everyone does this, and I recommend you do because it can be really helpful and engaging with your viewers, is you want to just ask them for feedback. Like, what do they think of the video, what do they think of the footage, etc. So how you would do it, how I do it, is I always say, hey guys, thanks for watching, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any feedback on what I did well or what I could improve on, be sure to leave it down below. And yeah, so something like that. And then of course, thank the viewers for watching, and then you can just finish the recording. Next, you want to listen to the recording and make sure you like it. If there's something you want to change and it's not perfect to you and you don't think it's quite ready yet, remember you can always redo the recording. So that is all I have to say about commentary. Next, we're going to move on to music. And that is key to making a good video. So for the longest time, I didn't have music in the background of my videos. You can go back about a year and a half, maybe even a year, and you'll see that I don't have it. But one day, my friend just like, why don't you have music in the background of your videos? And I'm just like, I don't know. And he said, well, it sounds really good. And so I tried it, and it did sound good. So that's something I really recommend to you guys. A great source for gaming commentary music. I know it's not really a genre, but this website is just really great with producing music, or not producing, but putting out and making you aware of music that sounds really, really good with gaming commentaries, in my opinion. And that would be No Copyright Sounds. So I'll link them down below. And they try to have music for the whole video, so have at least 4 to 5 songs chosen, and then add them all to the vid and turn down the audio enough that you can hear the music, but that it isn't anywhere near drowning you out, because that's really bad. So you don't want it to be like you have your insane gaming music going on in the background and it's like way louder than you. Like, you want to be heard. What's way more important, like if you had to choose between the two, it's much more important that you have your gaming audio, like your opinion on stuff in there rather than the music. So just make sure that it's quiet and it can be heard in the background, but is definitely not drowning you out. One thing I want to give you a piece of advice on with non-copyright sounds is some of their links aren't so trustable. Honestly, like I think they're a good website. It's just that they basically they're kind of like a database for people who do that kind of music, so they will find those kind of songs and they'll just use whatever download link the person put out, and some of them will download spamware into your computer. So what I recommend you do is you use YouTube MP3 and you just copy and paste the video URL and then download it from there, because that is pretty trustable in my opinion and has worked well for me so far. So anyway, now to make sure your video is complete, rewatch from start to finish, make any changes you feel are necessary, and once you think it is done, save the final project. So if you're on Movie Maker Live, go to the upper right hand corner, click Save Movie, and then Recommended for this project. What you want in the another equivalent is something that will save it to the 16:9 aspect ratio. So like if you're on, let's say, Sony Vegas, I don't know what they do there, but just get something that can save it close to a 16:9 aspect ratio. Then you just have to wait for the vid to save and you are done. Now the final thing before uploading your video, which is completely optional to do, is making a thumbnail. I personally don't do them very often, but if you are interested and you have an iPhone or an iPod Touch, I recommend getting the apps CutMeIn and Fonto. Those are what I personally use. I know there are a bunch of programs on the computer you can use as well, but I really don't use them that much. Like I don't even have them. So someone I recommend if you want to learn about those from, if you have any questions, is my YouTube friend Bro It's Raza. I haven't asked him about this at all, but he gave me some advice on it, so you can just go check out his channel. Really cool guy. I'm sure if you left a comment asking like, hey, what program do you use to make your thumbnails, I'm sure he'd respond. If you want to know how to make the ones in Fonto and CutMeIn, you can ask me, but I think also my friend Clash with Thursa is going to be uploading a tutorial video on it soon. So once he does that, if he does, I'll link it, and if you have any questions for me on this, just be sure to ask him down below and I'll respond as soon as possible. So now we are on to the final thing, and that is uploading. Any browser should work for you, but I personally use Chrome. Once the upload has started, feel free to make any edits you like for the title. If you want to make it interesting, well, you do want to make it interesting. For this one, for example, if I want to make it interesting, I would say how to make a good gaming commentary. For the description, thank the viewers for watching and put any additional info you want them to know there, and then also link any website or anything else you deem important. For the tags, put whatever you think necessary. I'm not the best at this, so I will link a good tutorial down below. However, I can tell you that you want to make them all relevant to your video and you don't want to make too many. So one time, I don't know if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you might remember this. I did a video on Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare the day it came out, and I thought it'd do really well, and instead it got like 100 views and like 19 likes, which is really not good for me at that time, and even now, that's just like not good at all. And I think the reason it is I just put a ton of tags. Like I put garden in, I put like planting in, and so what ended up showing up in the recommended videos was like old ladies working on their gardens. Like I don't want that to show up, so you want to make sure your things are accurate and you don't want to do too much because that will mess you up. So anyway, finally click publish and you are done. That is really all I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, be sure to let me know. If this vid helped you out, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe and share. If you have some feedback on what I said, like if you have some critiques of my advice, be sure to leave it down below. And yeah, thank you guys all so much for watching. I hope this helps you out a lot, and I'll see you later.